Hello everyone, my name is Yogesh, and in today's lecture I will be telling you how you can build metro looking application, or you can say modern UI looking application using WPF. And for this you don't need to learn, like it will not be complex. You just need to have basic understanding of XAML, and with that you will be able to have this modern looking UI application integrated with your application. Now there are few steps which I will be guiding you through, but before starting this lecture let me show you to what I mean. And basically I'm recording this lecture on low resolution, so just ignore those font sizes and all. You can once you are working on with this application, you can change it by your own need. Now just walking through the demos. Now this is the tiles in your application, and you can do certain click events and all on these tiles. After that I will be showing you the dialog box, that how messages will come and how you will get the result what you pressed. You can have cancel and OK dialog box. You can have two extra buttons also, like a single auxiliary and multi auxiliary. Then we have the input box. Here you can input anything. Now I input my name, that is Yogi, and this is giving me the result back. Other than that we have the flare layout panel, and believe me, this will add a lot of good you can with this you will be able to have a lot of feature in your application on a single page. You don't need to have multi-windows application, like you can reduce the windows which are required in your application. Now here what you see is like this panel. Then you can have your like few whatever the information you want to show, like if person click on something and the order comes here and all. And here also you can have the controls here also, like here you can provide a search also. The person can search, and from here he can hit anything and all. The settings you can display on right and left side whatever you like, and the messages you can show it as a modal pop-up which is coming from below. So there are a lot of things you can do with this. Other than this there is one more thing, that is dynamic tiles. Why this is called as dynamic tiles? The thing is, the first tiles are static, defined in XAML itself. Now these are coming from the code, so I will be telling you how you can make the tiles dynamic and how you can react on their click event, like what you pressed and all. And what you can do on that totally depend upon you, but I will be telling you how you can make it dynamic. Other than that progress bars, like this bar is coming. You can have the progress ring also in your application. The tab control is very good looking, and here you can have this tab controls from like on the top, like from horizontally or vertically, so it totally depends upon your requirement. Other than that, this is the normal data grid view. This is coming as per the theme. Here I have just grouped it according to the cities, so to make like to show you how you can use the grid view also. And there are a few other control, like this is the toggle button. You can on it and off it, and there is this switch button to on and off. This will provide the property checkbox kind of radio button property. And here also the date time picker and all. And this is the drop down. You can change the drop down as according to you, but still the drop down is there, the basic drop down. So these are the demo, like this is the demo walkthrough, like what we will be building. Like basically I will not be building complete application. This code will be available on my website. Let me show you my website, that is nistexfy.in. so the link for the code I will provide under the video wherever you are watching. What are the things is, here I will tell you how you can have it in this application, because if I will start typing it, it will it will be a wastage of time. So I will tell you where you have to copy and paste and where you have to do what. Okay, now first of all you have to include this NuGet, that is MahApps.metro. For that you just have to go into the NuGet packages. Now I have this installed in my directory. What you can do is you can go online, you can type MahApps, MahApps, and you will search and install in your application. After that what you have to do is you just have to copy these resources, okay, the source files. This will be available on my website, so you don't have to worry about, you don't have need to like record it, write it. So what you have to do in the app.xaml, you have to replace these files. Okay, basically there will be no file available, so just you have to copy it here. Okay, after that now coming to the window. Now let me show you by adding a window, like how you can have it. Let me add it. WPF window, test window. So now first of all you need to copy paste these two XAML namespaces into your application. then you just have to copy this controls column. Basically these are the namespace for this control directive. Now here what I'm doing, I'm just have to now I replace this and just now we have to go into the backend, and here what we have to do is MahApps dot metro dot controls controls dot window metro window. So we just have to inherit this class into our normal form, and now let me show it to you. Here your application will be ready with this test window. So you can see by simple thing you can have this look in your in your application by just copying paste like just first integrating the NuGet, then copy this resource file into app.xaml, then just replacing some like adding some XAML namespaces in your window, and these are these, and then just changing this to the control, and then just inheriting the proper metro window in your application in your window like WPF form. So now coming to main window. Okay, now here is the demo. Okay, now coming back to our C. Okay, now I told you about namespace and XAML namespace also. Okay, now coming to the code. Now from first the first dialog box was tiles. Okay, so let me walk you through. Now in tiles what you have to do is basically here in the first example I showed you there were two types of tiles. First of all the tile with big size, and the second is small tiles. Okay, now for that I have made a simple resource files which you can copy from the code. This is the dimension for the small tile size, and this is for the large tile size. And here what I did is I have prepared a wrap panel with width of this 2000, and then what I'm doing is I'm adding my controls. Now the controls are tiles. Now this is the control tile, and tile is this is the title of the tile. Here I have specified the resource which I am using for providing the width and all, and in between for the icon I have used this canvas. You can have your image control and all to display the icon. So here I have used the icon this canvas to draw the icon. Okay, now what how many tiles you want, it's totally depend upon you. So here are few tiles which I made, so you can just copy and paste and edit it as per your requirement also. So because the demo will be available to you, so it will not you will not need to work much on this. Now this is how simple you can have this tiles in your application. Now coming to the second one was the dialog box. Now dialog box have a little thing which I have to tell you, which you have to learn first. Basically the same, first I included the namespace, I changed this directive, my control directive, and then going to this I have inherited the metro window in the class. And now coming to the dialog box. Okay, now for the dialog box as I showed you there were 4 dialog box and 1 input box. Okay, now in this only message will come. Okay, and this is the result I am getting back. And here there will be OK and cancel button. Now in this I have this button like single auxiliary yes and no. So there is a third option, whatever I want to do on this third option I can have it. And this is double auxiliary, like there will be 4 buttons. Sorry, because of the resolution it is just screwing it up. Okay, so but with a good like basically more than 800 resolution it will work fine. And this is the input box. So let me show you to how you can have this in your application. Now for this I have made a few methods, that is like show dialog box, and this is async method. And what it is doing is it is showing a dialog box. This is basically kind of not async dialog box. This is the title, this is the message I want to display, and this is the type, like I want single affirmative and all like the affirmative and then affirmative negative and affirmative negative with single auxiliary and double auxiliary. Okay, so this is how when the person will click OK, the result will get back to here, and when the result is get back and then I'm showing the message box again with the same show dialog, show async. Okay, now also when you are working with a single and double auxiliary, now you want to change the text on the button. Now for the single auxiliary I would just want to change my name as no option. okay, so that in the UI it should not be showing a single auxiliary. So what I am doing is these are the message settings, like dialog box settings. Here I am telling you like my affirmative text will be yes and negative text will be no. Here I can change it to like true and false also, okay. And now coming to this no option and all, and also the color scheme I'm changing it like color scheme whatever it is showing. And then then it is the same, like title, the message, the type, and also I'm passing the settings which I defined. If you are not passing the settings, it will show as a default one. Okay, now if you will see the dialog box, okay, now if you will see the dialog box, now it is showing as true, false, and no options, and but the result will be same like first auxiliary you pressed and all. So at the back end you can manage it by your code, whatever it is returning back. Okay, for the input box there is show input box async, the same is title, then the text you want to show in this, and whatever the result you will type in that, it will get returned back to this result variable. Now then you can whatever you want to show, that totally depends upon you. And for here what I am doing is I'm just calling it whenever you are selecting it from the list. So this is not big concern, so you can have it. So for the dialog box you need to have these 4 methods. You can just copy in your application, you can change the settings as per your requirement, and then you can display. And for the result it is waiting like async method, so it will it will return the result, and then you can take the necessary action. Okay, now coming to the third one, that is flay layout example. Now these are very simple, as let me take you to the fly layout. Okay, so it is totally XAML based. Okay, now there is a control name. First of all, the same, you have to copy the namespace, change this directive, and then in the code you just have to inherit the proper window which we want to show. And also now there is a control name, controls metro window dot fly layouts. Now here you have to define your fly layouts, and in the fly layouts you can have your basically any controls. Okay, now the grid view is there, so grid is there, so within the grid you can have stack panel and all. So this is how the things are getting arranged in the fly layout. There are a lot than these 8 which I showed you, so you can have this from here. Basically I got it from the like MahApps example project, so you can have the different layout other than those which I'm showing. So these are the fly layouts, and you have to define it here. So by default this fly layout will be the will be in the will not be visible to the user. So when you want to get it visible, now on the button clicks I am specifying like which fly layout to toggle, and here is my method which I use for toggling. Now if I go to the definition of this, what I'm doing is I'm just checking the index passed, and I'm just checking fly layout is open. If it is not open, then just like reverse it. So basically kind of I'm using not for reversing what I'm getting. If is open is a property, so if you will in the dialog box initially if you will provide suppose for the inverse I want it as is open equal to true. So by default if I run my application, so this will be by default true. So initially without, if you are not specifying it, it will take it as false. Okay, so you can have it later change. So in the code what I'm doing is I'm just setting this is open property. So whatever you want to use, you can use it with this. Also you can provide the name to this fly layouts panel, so you can use directly without the index. So it is totally depends upon you. Now coming to the next example, that is dynamic tiles. Okay, now in the dynamic tiles there is little change. Okay, now for the dynamic tiles same, first of all I provided these 2 resources. Now how these dynamic tiles are coming. Okay, now for the dynamic I showed you with the tiles I'm using the wrap panel. Okay, so wrap panel you cannot use directly for data binding. Okay, because there is no template defined for that. So what I am doing is I have this item control, and for this item control I am defining item template. Okay, first of all I am defining the item panel, and that is my wrap panel. Okay, and then what I'm doing is in the template I'm defining my control, and the control will be control tile. So whatever the tile from the back end it will show, and the properties will come. Let me show you. I have just created one simple class for this. Here the few properties are like title, color, type, and icon, which it has to display in the center. Okay, and also if you just want to change the kind of this icons and all, you can use a lot of icons are there. Let me get my solution explorer. Okay, just wait for a second, sorry. Okay, now if I go into my first example, there are a lot of tiles which I've used, so I can change the icon. Maybe if I'm not picking the same one, but you can just change the definition from here, or also in the first one. So this is how you can change your tiles and all. Basically why I make it dynamic, so this is the reason for making them dynamic. And also there is for handling the click event, I have made a method which will be telling basically when the tile will get clicked, it will get the title out of it, and once you are getting the title, you can do it like anything with it. Later it is just showing in the message box. Here it is coming. Okay, now coming for the progress bar. Okay, there is one thing in the progress bar. By default you cannot have this ring progress bar visible. I don't know whether it is bug or there is some purpose for this, but by default it will not show here. So whenever by default it will be invisible, but by with program like button click and all, you can make it visible. Okay, and for the progress bar, let me walk you through to that code also. First of all, there are normal progress bar from the WPF, and because of the theme, they have added little kind of you can say theming is there in the progress bar, and later there are like metro progress bars for indeterminate I think you can just through it, and otherwise you can increase the value whatever you like. This is the progress, and for the progress ring, by default I told you like we have to keep it as hidden, and in the programming on this button click I am making it visible. Just I am changing the visibility property. So this is very simple, but you can use this application like basically progress bar in your application also. Okay, now coming to the next example, that is I think the tab 1. Okay, for the tab 1 you don't have to like do anything new. These are the normal tabs you are defining, the normal tab control. Because of the theme, it will apply the theming, and when you want to move the tab on left side, you just have to this tabs replacement left or right and all, so it will just change the direction of the tabs in the application. Okay, now coming to this data grid. Also one more thing, if you will see in this data grid, the theme is not applied to the window. The thing is here what I did is I didn't change where it is data grid. Okay, now I didn't change this window. Okay, it is by default using the WPF window. So what I do is in the stage on the back end, on the background, it change, apply the theme, but the other thing, the normal kind of the like the bar, like the you can say top bar and all will be the same, which comes as a default window interface. Okay, so if you don't apply, it will come like that. If you apply, then it will use the theme window. Okay, title bar and all. Okay, now coming toward this data grid. Now now first I told you like it is the normal data grid. What I'm doing is I'm just binding it with the data source. Okay, no columns defined. Now in the second one, what I'm doing is I have these columns also. Okay, and I'm defining it, and there is after this defining the column, there is this group style. Okay, group template kind of. Here what I'm saying is I want to group it according to the basically whatever the group I'm providing. When you are grouping it, later I am using this expander control. Okay, and I can change the for color and all. For grouping, what you have to do is you just have to go in here. You have to use this collection view source. Here you just have to add the group description, and in the group description I mentioned my property, that is empcity. I'm just using this class, and later it is using it as kind of grouping in the grid view. Okay, so this is very look, and this is same as you have in your normal WPF grid view, so there is no special change. It is because of the theming. Okay, and also one more thing, like if you just want to change the theme from light to dark, you can just change it from here. You don't have to do it extra. And if you just want to change the colors, you want to red or blue. Okay, if I go with red, then it will change the theme of your application. Okay, and also you can change it on runtime also if you require. That totally depends upon you, how you treat your application. Like if you just want to change it to green, so you can play with different colors. Like there is not all colors available, few colors are available. You can use this. Now see how easy it is to change your application theme. And for this button, these are the normal switch buttons which come under the UI. You can check it from the code. Okay, now and basically I will paste all this code on my website. I told you earlier also, like on my textfy.in, and also the link for the page will be given under the video. If you have any question, you can contact me. My name is Yogesh Mehala. My website is this textfy.in. My email id is yogesh.mehala@gmail.com. This is my phone number. You can contact directly on my phone also if you require. And also my name is my Skype name is King Conspiracy. You can contact me directly. Even if you want like personal lecture, I can provide you that also. Thank you for watching. Keep learning. Stay healthy.